Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, No Sweat English. My name is Carol Wright. I'll be your teacher for the day. Today I'd like to talk about how to use like versus as. Even though they're very similar words, they have some very similar functions, but also some differences among them. Before we get started, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell so that every time a video gets uploaded, you'll be notified. So let's get started. So first we can use as to make comparisons. How we do that is we use as plus an adjective plus as to say if something or someone has or doesn't have the same amount of that quality as something or someone else. This sounds very complicated, but I think once you see some examples, you understand what I mean. So let's look at the first example. If I say John is as tall as Jackie, so here I'm using the as plus the adjective tall and as Jackie. I'm saying John and Jackie are the same in their height. Okay? So I'm comparing John and Jackie's height, and I'm saying that they have the same height. John is as tall as Jackie, which you can also say Jackie is as tall as John. Now I have something that means they're not equal or they're not the same quality. So I can say Amanda is not as old as Becky. In this case, I'm saying Amanda is less than Becky or is younger than Becky, right? So Amanda is not as old as Becky, meaning Amanda is younger or not as old as Becky. So in this case, we can use the not to say that they're not similar. And whichever is in the first position is going to be smaller or less than the subject in the second position. Okay, so Amanda is younger than Becky. I can also use things to talk about comparisons. I love country music as much as you do. So my love for country music equals to your love for country music, meaning that they are the same. We both love country music just as much as the other person. Next, a cat is not as big as a dog usually. So here I'm saying cat is smaller than a dog or not as big as a dog. Okay, so we can use as plus an adjective and as to make comparisons. Next, we can use the same as, which is a phrase to say something is equal. I can say here, for example, your bicycle is the same as mine, meaning your bicycle equals my bicycle. In some way, maybe talking about shape or size or brand. Next example, John's house is the same size as Jack's. So the size of John's house equals to the size of Jack's house. Amy's car model is not the same as Brian's. So here I'm saying that Amy's car model is not equal to Brian's car model. So there are some differences. So again, you can use the same as to say something is equal or not the same as to say something is different when you're making comparisons. We can also use like to make comparisons, but we usually use a noun afterwards, okay, to say two things, two people, or two places are similar. I can say she is like a mother to me, meaning that her actions are similar to mother, usually meaning she's very nurturing or someone who would take care of me. You can say you are acting like a child. So you're not a child, but you're acting like a child. So your behavior is similar to a child's. A motorhome is like a house, but it has wheels. I'm saying a motorhome is similar to a house. Okay, so like plus noun, we can say that to say that something is very similar to something else, or people, or places. Next, we have making comparisons also using verbs of senses plus like. So again, we have the senses of the five senses of listening, looking, smelling, tasting, and feeling, right? Plus like to say something look, smell, sound, taste, feel like something else. So if I say he looks like his father, you're saying he has similar looks to his father. So I'm using the first sense of seeing, of looks. This perfume smells like fresh rain. So this perfume smells similar to fresh rain. So I'm using this sense of smell here. The soup tastes like my mother's. I'm saying the soup tastes similar to my mother's soup. So here I'm saying the soup has a very similar taste to my mother's. And here the sense of the senses I'm using is sense of taste. The blanket feels like a sheep. So I'm saying that the blanket feels similar to a sheep's coat. Okay, so I'm using the sense of feeling here. Okay, so we can use the senses plus like to say something look, smell, sound, taste, or feel like something else. Next, we can also use as if and as though plus a clause to compare a real situation to an imagined situation followed by a subject and a verb, which is a clause. So as if and as though are the same, so you can choose whichever one you want to use. Here, an example. On the plane, I feel as though I were flying. So I feel like I was flying while on the plane. When I'm not really flying myself, I'm on the plane, which feels like I am actually flying. You're shouting as if I were deaf. You're speaking so loud like I were deaf, but I am not. Okay? He looks as if he had seen a ghost. He looks so scared like he saw a ghost, but he didn't really see one. So I'm using my imagination here to compare something real to something imagined to make a comparison to what it feels like or what it seems like. Next, we're going to talk about giving examples. We can use like or such as to give examples. So here we can say Jack can try many sports like football, baseball, or basketball. So I follow like with the list of examples. Just like such as, I can say you should wear comfortable shoes such as sneakers to the picnic. Usually such as is a little bit more formal than like. Like is more conversational, but we can give examples using both like and such as. Next, we can talk about a job or a function. We can use as plus a noun to talk about a job or a function. So I can say I worked as a librarian when I was in college, meaning I was a librarian when I was in college. She used her jacket as an umbrella when it rained. Her jacket was used like an umbrella when it rained. So I'm talking about the function, the job of a librarian, and also the function of a jacket like an umbrella. Okay, so we can use as plus noun to talk about a job or a function. Next, as also has the meaning of because. So here we have some examples. All the seats were sold out as we arrived too late. So here is the same as all the seats were sold out because we arrived too late. As he never told me the truth, I couldn't help him. This is the same as because he never told me the truth, I couldn't help him. Okay, so as can be used like because. As can also be used as while or during the time that. So here are some examples. My mother called as I was driving home, meaning my mother called while I was driving home. As the plane was arriving, we were flying out. During the time that the plane was arriving, we were flying out. Okay, so as has the same meaning as while and during the time that. Next, as also has the meaning of in the way that, which is a little bit formal here. So we can say, as you know, the coronavirus is a pandemic. This means in the way that you know, the coronavirus is a pandemic. As I mentioned before, classes are held online. So as here means in the way that I mentioned before. As he expected, it rained this evening. In the way that he expected, it rained this evening. Okay, so when we want to refer to something we know or expectation or something that was mentioned, we can use as to introduce it. Finally, we can use like in the way that also is a little bit informal in this case. Instead of saying as I said, I can say like I said, please don't call me after 8 p.m. Okay, so this is less formal and more conversational. Like she wanted, her Uber came early. Okay, meaning in the way that she wanted, her Uber came early. Okay, so like also has a meaning of in the way that, but more informal. Let's do a check on our knowledge by doing this exercise. Please pause at this point if you want to fill in the answers and check your understanding, whether or not to use as or like, and then I'm going to give you the answers right now as we go through the questions. Janet worked as a secretary for her company for 10 years. Remember, we can use as plus a profession or a job. Jesse sounds just like his father when he speaks. Okay, meaning sounds just like. This is the senses plus like. I know this is my first time to Japan, but I feel as though I have been here before. Okay, so as though is something that goes together. Sheila doesn't have much money. Her cousin, here we're going to use as and as to talk about comparison. As much money as her cousin. Okay, so number 5, we were early. There were plenty of seats at the theater. Okay, as we were early. So remember, as here has a meaning of because. So we can use as here to fill in our blanks. If I can actually type this successfully, that would be very helpful. I traveled on a plane using my jacket as a blanket. Okay, just like a blanket. Plants need many things. We can here say like or such as, right? Like or such as sunlight and water to grow. I like watching TV as I fold my laundry. Here has the meaning of at the same time or while. Number 9, she wants to be a doctor as he enjoys helping people. So this is an explanation because, so I can put as. The artist sounds like Michael Jackson. Okay, again, senses plus like. That's how we can use that. All right. Okay, so that is all the time we have today to talk about the differences and similarities of like and as. If you have any questions, please comment below in my YouTube video. I really appreciate any comments you have, even if you just want to say hi. If you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button. That really helps my channel grow, and I really appreciate that. So until next time, stay safe and have a great day. Thank you.